Imagine this: you're sitting in your room when suddenly the lights flicker, your phone levitates off the table, and a whisper echoes through the air that no human voice could make. What if magic wasn't fantasy? What if magic was real? For thousands of years, humans have told stories about forces beyond understanding. The Egyptians spoke of divine spells. The Greeks wrote about sorcerers who bent reality. African kingdoms told of rainmakers and healers who shaped nature. Different cultures, different languages, same idea. A power beyond science, beyond logic, beyond the human limit. But here's the part that should make your heart skip. What if these stories weren't metaphors, but memories? What if magic existed once and could exist again? And even more terrifying, what if it never disappeared at all? Imagine waking up in a world where a teenager discovers they can move objects with their mind. A scientist accidentally heals a wound with a touch. A storm gathers because someone is angry. Magic wouldn't appear quietly. It would erupt, unpredictable, uncontrollable, world-shaking. Now think about this. If magic returned instantly, no one would know the rules. Who can use it? How strong is it? And what happens when emotions become weapons? What if some people were born with it, and some weren't? Scientists wouldn't dismiss it. They'd race to explain it. Researchers would break magic down like physics. What energy source does it use? Is it tied to the brain? Can it be measured? Is it genetic? Imagine hospitals using healing spells instead of surgery. Imagine engineers lifting bridges with telekinesis. Imagine classrooms teaching elemental control 101. But the deeper scientists dig, the more they would realize. Magic doesn't play by the rules of nature. It rewrites them. Where there is power, there is danger. Imagine an inexperienced teenager accidentally creating a firestorm, a telekinetic shove causing a building to collapse. A moment of fear triggering an energy burst that shatters glass for miles. Governments would panic. Emergency alerts would flood every device. Magic wouldn't just change physics, it would change fear. And fear spreads faster than any spell. Within hours, airspace would close, military drones would swarm cities, scientists and soldiers would form containment teams, and new questions would emerge. Should magic be registered, controlled, restricted? A world that fears the unknown always tries to cage it. But what if magic refuses to be caged? Now imagine this. Some people can cast spells, others can't. Suddenly, power isn't political. Power isn't financial. Power is biological. The world would split into two classes, the empowered and the ordinary. New leaders would rise. Old governments would crumble, and the balance of humanity would tilt forever. But this leads to a darker question. What if magic felt good? What if using it triggered a rush stronger than adrenaline, an intoxicating sense of control? Some people would crave it. Some would abuse it. Some would lose themselves to it. Magic wouldn't just change the world, it would change human nature. And once people taste ultimate power, they rarely give it up. The world wouldn't collapse. It would evolve. Cities powered by elemental energy, transportation replaced by teleportation, weather controlled by trained mages, crime fought by spellcasters, schools teaching children how to wield the elements. The economy would shift from technology to ability. A single skilled mage could replace a power plant, a hospital, a construction team, a military unit. Magic would become the world's most valuable resource. But resources always attract conflict. Countries with more magic users would rise instantly. New alliances would form. Old rivalries would explode. Spells instead of missiles. Teleportation instead of armies. Illusion and invisibility instead of espionage. The first magical war wouldn't last years. It would last minutes. One spell, one mistake, one unstable mage, and a continent could vanish. This is the part no one wants to imagine. A world where the most dangerous weapon is a single human mind. Magic wouldn't just reveal power. It would reveal truth. The truth about who we are. Would we use magic to heal, to create, to protect? Or would we use it to dominate, to destroy, to rewrite the world in our image? Maybe magic doesn't corrupt people. Maybe it exposes what was always inside us. And here's the twist. What if magic was never fantasy? What if it existed once long ago in civilizations we barely understand? What if the pyramids, the stone circles, the impossible ancient structures weren't built by manpower, but by mind? Maybe ancient myths aren't myths. Maybe they're warnings. Warnings about a time when humans had magic and lost it. Or perhaps used it until it destroyed them. If magic returned today, the world would split, rebuild, rise, fall, and rise again, humanity would transform forever. But the biggest question isn't about power, it's about us. Would magic make us gods or monsters? So now think about this. We assume the world is predictable, logical, scientific. But what if we're wrong? What if the universe is stranger, deeper, and more mysterious than we can even imagine? What if magic isn't gone, just waiting for the world to be ready? And the real question is, what if magic woke up tomorrow? Would you survive in a world where thought becomes power and emotion shapes reality? Now imagine if that happened tomorrow. Would you survive? If this journey blew your mind, hit like, subscribe, and tell us in the comments. If magic was real, what spell would you want to master?